immediately. But for more on this, we are now joined by SABC reporter Chriselda Lewis, who is at the briefing. Chriselda, welcome to AM News. Thank you for your time. Chriselda Lewis.
Well, thank you very much.
Good morning. Now, can you tell us more on what the briefing will entail?
Well, certainly it will be very interesting to see what the security cluster ministers have to say. But certainly, again, the expectation is that they will condemn the ongoing violence against foreign nationals. And also what we're going to hear from this briefing is essentially what government's plan is moving forward. As you would know, that the violence has spread to various parts of the country. We've seen violence here in Johannesburg, which has spread to other townships, including Tembisa and Alexandra. And we've also seen in the Northwest Province as well some of the attacks that were service delivery protests during the course of the week also spilling over, becoming now attacks against foreign nationals. And what government's plan is essentially to make those foreign nationals feel safe, and government's plan moving forward in terms of the thousands of people that have been displaced at a number of places that have been set up to house foreign nationals that have been chased out of these townships. Now, certainly government is quite under significant pressure to come up with some kind of plan, and certainly there'll be clarity on that here this morning. But it's going to have to be a plan, certainly one that's going to deal with a number of these issues. We've seen the seriousness regarding this. President Jacob Zuma, as well, as you would know, has cancelled his trip to Jakarta. He was scheduled to attend the Africa-Asia Summit there. He's put that on hold to try and attend to domestic issues as well. So certainly government seems to be wanting to sort out, the challenges that are being experienced in the country at the moment. And, world condemnation essentially, Tumelo, is what we're seeing here, in terms of the attacks, the spate of attacks in South Africa. And South Africa really needs to be seen to be doing something about the spate of violent attacks in the townships and in various other parts as well of the country.
Now, Chriselda, President Jacob Zuma also spoke about how the violent foreign attacks, of course, were setting a bad precedent on the country and a bad image on the country. We also understand that just a dozen of South Africans in Mozambique had to be brought back home. Now, what will the ministers be saying regarding South Africans that are not necessarily in the country but in other countries within the continent that perhaps are experiencing reprisal attacks regarding foreign attacks right here in South Africa?
Well, certainly, Tumelo, that has been a great cause of concern for South Africa, because initially when these attacks started in Durban and then moved to various parts around the country, what we then saw is now a ripple effect taking place here. You had South Africans in Mozambique at one of the Sasol plants, for example, some of the employees at Sasol, Mozambicans, saying they do not want South Africans on the plant. We saw some of the trucks that were being stoned that were crossing the border into South Africa or moving from South Africa into other parts of the continent. So certainly what government needs to do, and maybe we will get a sense from these security cluster ministers this afternoon about what the plan is for South Africans in various parts on the continent where they have come under attack. And also, just to mention, you would also note, Tumelo, is that the ripple effect has been so significant in that we've seen artists who were meant to perform in various parts on the continent and even in Europe who are now being told they cannot go and perform in these countries because there would be a boycott of South Africans. Rumors also that some of these concerts will be boycotted, there will be violence at these. So a lot of artists, Yoringo Madlingozi, Kelly Kumalo, have decided that for now, if they don't know what the situation is, they will back out of these concerts, of course getting information. But the security cluster ministers certainly have the responsibility to now communicate about what is going to be done about South Africans who are in these different parts of the world and who are in other parts of the continent, to say, will there be an evacuation plan for South Africans there? Is there a place they'll be able to be housed in these different countries if there is any form of violence against them? Certainly those are the questions which we will pose to the security cluster ministers, and let's see what response we will get from that.
All right, thank you so much, Chriselda Lewis, of course, live, all right, in Pretoria, coming to us right here on AM News, updating us on what we can expect when, of course, we cross live to a media briefing by our ministers, of course, who are tasked to deal with the attacks on foreign nationals. I understand that is Malusi, Gigaba, Minister Malusi Gigaba and Minister Nathi, just amongst the ministers that, of course, they will be addressing us a little bit later.